y tenemos información comprobada que en territorio de la Guayana Esequiba, administrado temporalmente por Guyana, han instalado bases militares secretas del Comando Sur.
That was Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro as he denounced the installation of U.S. Southern Command, or SouthCom, secret bases in the Essequibo, an oil-rich area that's the focus of a dispute with Guyana. He was speaking on national television Tuesday as he announced new legislation intended to protect Venezuela from any military or economic threat launched from that region. On Wednesday, SouthCom's commander, General Laura Richardson, was in Buenos Aires meeting with Argentina's President Milei. The purpose of the trip, according to SouthCom's website, is to, quote, foster dialogue and cooperation with the country's new government and defense leaders, closed quote. For more on that, we go to Nicaragua to speak with Stephen Sefton. Stephen, SouthCom's busting a move on at least two fronts. What's going on?
There's lots of stuff going on. Apart from Laura Richardson, the SouthCom chief, the U.S. military Southern Command chief, visiting Argentina. I think she's there today, unless I'm mistaken. There's also this announcement that we had yesterday from Nicolas Maduro, claiming that Southern Command has secretly set up bases in the disputed Esequibo region of between Guyana and Venezuela.
Yeah, and they passed legislation. He signed legislation to secure Venezuela's rights to that land.
Yeah, so his revelation that both the Southern Command and also he alleges the CIA has set up bases in that disputed territory is a very serious development for the region. But in general, as you said in your introduction, SouthCom is really trying to flex its muscles following the March 8th, I think it was March 8th statement by General Laura Richardson to the House of Representatives Armed Services Committee, in which she set out the posture of Southern Command for the region for the next year or so, for the next few years. And among those, among the things of interest that we should be paying attention to, I think, are in particular SouthCom's agreement with the outright fascist government of Javier Milei in Argentina to take control of, I think in a very real sense, I don't think I'm exaggerating in saying that, to take control of the navigation supervision and monitoring of the hugely important Parana River, that is the main fluvial artery and an absolutely crucial commercial artery, both for Argentina and I think also to some extent for Paraguay. And you and I, before we came on air, also confirmed that the Rio Parana is an absolutely essential part of hydroelectric power generation for both Brazil and Paraguay. So the fact that US SouthCom is has managed to insert itself into the security control mechanisms in Argentina on that very, very important Parana River.
And Brazil, too. See, it's interesting because Lula took office in January of last year, 2023, right? And so the right, we can debate all that, but the right formally lost control of the government. And so things like military relations with the United States had to take, a different tone. However, last year during May, SouthCom had joint exercises with Brazil's military there, obviously scheduled during Lula's predecessor. And they firmed up later in the year, in October, November, I don't remember which, a relationship with them. So that everywhere they go in, they stay there. And everywhere that they get to enter, they go in and expand, like we're seeing in Argentina now with this Milei.
Yeah, and also we're going to see similar developments, I suspect, in Ecuador and Peru, but which are both countries that last year authorized the entry of U.S. troops supposedly to assist their anti-narcotics operations, but in political contexts which are extremely unstable and volatile in both Ecuador and Peru. And now we're likely to see a similar development in Argentina, where President Javier Milei's policies, absolutely disastrous policies affecting the great majority of the population, likely to plunge huge numbers of Argentina's population into poverty, and that's going to exacerbate the political stability in Argentina at a time when U.S. SouthCom is increasing its presence. And it's not just on the River Parana that they're doing so. They also have 4 other military bases in Argentina, one right down on the around near Tierra del Fuego in the Ushuaia, another one projecting up into the northeast of the country in a place called Misiones, one in the northwest of the country, very close to Bolivia, at a place called Salta, and also another base which is both very close to major gas fields in Argentina, the Vaca Muerta gas fields, which are a huge hydrocarbon resource for Argentina, and also just across the border from where Chile is having very serious security problems with its local indigenous Mapuche population. So you can see that in that sense, it's not just that having control of navigation operations on the Rio Parana enables SouthCom to project itself right into the heart of the Southern Cone in South America. But around that as well, they also have these other military bases that are maintained also for the purpose of regional control. I know all this nonsense about military cooperation is precisely that. It's complete nonsense. The whole object of their military activity is to develop and deepen the neo-colonial control that they already established politically in Argentina through the governments of Mauricio Macri and subsequently this new government of Javier Milei that's going to intensify that. And now that SouthCom is adding the military component to that neo-colonial reoccupation, as it were, of Argentina. So, and that coupled with what's happening in Ecuador, in Peru, and also now in Venezuela, is a matter of great concern to other countries in the region who have struggled for years to maintain Latin America as a region of peace.
You know, it's really interesting. I'm looking at this document that you sent me from SouthCom, and it's the evaluation of Latin America, of South America in particular, by SouthCom's prepared for General Richardson, Laura Richardson, who's the head down there. And just the very beginning of this, Russia as an acute threat. This is it to South America.
Right.
It's been 2 years since Russia's unprovoked and unlawful invasion of Ukraine. Putin's assault has, quote, disrupted global supply chains, agricultural products, and energy resources, close quote, which slowed Latin America and the Caribbean's recovery from COVID-19 pandemic. They're blaming the COVID pandemic in South America on Putin. And it says his authoritarian hand serves as a model for and bolsters the authoritarian regimes of Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. And this is one of the raison for this $1 billion a year operation or whatever.
Yeah, and also, and just quickly, Don, if we've got time, and I think it's worth noting that this kind of effort at reoccupation or recolonization, if you like, of the region by the United States is in large part its response to having lost prestige, lost influence, lost control in, for example, Africa, and probably certainly West Asia, but also other parts of Asia as well. And so what we're seeing in Latin America is, I interpret this as an effort by the United States to compensate for its really dramatic loss of prestige and influence in the rest of the world.
That's the retreat to the near empire. All right, Stephen, thank you so much for your time and expertise. We appreciate it, and we'll speak with you again next week.
Thanks a million, Don. Look forward to it.
For KPFK, I'm Don DeBar.